Boys, you know what's crazy? Before I get into this video, I actually just started sneezing a lot right before I started recording this. And one frame of mind that's helped me recently was not trying to control the flow and just move and flow like with the flow. Just go with the flow, you know? Not saying you just go with the wind and let life control you, but I could just stop and say, "Oh, just blame my manager for giving me this itchy throat, runny nose. She was feeling weird yesterday, and I was like, okay, I should probably stay away. But this morning I woke up and I just started sneezing all of a sudden before I started recording. So I could just blame life and just say, oh, I can't record this because my manager got me sick. I could just, blame and just postpone this. But I'd rather not let that happen, and I'd rather just go with the flow and just do my best to record this than just, like be like a river, the rocks don't stop the water from moving with the flow. The water just goes away around the rocks. The same way like that is how you should approach life. And I think that's been a really good frame of mind I adapted recently. So just as a first lesson before we get into this. But I want to go into manipulating your mind into getting abs, which was the title of this video. And I want to start with where I started, but it's going to be really quick. But I need to go over this mindset habits that you must have and this new frame of thinking in order to be able to do the actions of getting abs, right? Because there's a lot of things that people do to try to get abs, but they don't have the mindset behind it, right? And most likely you've tried to get abs in your life, or you tried to lean down a little bit, but you've done the right actions, but you just didn't do it long enough, and that's because you didn't have the right mindset. So let's just go over for where I started real quick. The cycle of despair, the problem you didn't know you had, the boring answer, and then after all that, I'm gonna give you the four non-negotiables for guaranteed results. Okay, but first, it all starts with the mindset, and that's gonna be really important. And don't underestimate it. Mindset is really powerful when it comes to this, right? And this is going to be the frame of mind. It's not going to get a lot of views, this video, but if I sent this video to you or such, or if you found this on my channel, it's a very underrated and high quality video and high value if you actually apply it, right? You might not see the value immediately, but if you actually apply what I'm saying, you're going to see results guaranteed, okay? So just real quick, if you don't know who I am, my name's Carlos, and I just started posting online about fitness, and I wanted to look good for many different reasons, right? I wanted to look good for status. I wanted to look good for confidence, for females, for my friend group. I hated being underestimated because I knew I was capable of more. So when it came to like friend groups, I was like the least expected to do anything in life. And so I really wanted to prove to myself, to others, which there's a nuance to that, but you get what I mean, right? Heartbreak, first day of school. Like every time it was summertime, I wanted to look good before school. That was my time to shine, right? Look good for my teammates when I go to the pool, and just to shock everyone, right? So this is just me in the friend group. I was a little bit skinny here, and then this is me in my soccer with my teammates. Really good times right there. And this is me like 2 to 3 years ago. I think 3 years ago this picture was taken. I was very skinny, and I had like no definition. Like I had some definition, but I didn't have any muscle to show for it, right? And so that's where I came from. And so I entered this cycle of despair, which I didn't realize I was in when I first started getting into fitness. I was in this cycle of despair that I didn't know I was in until I got out of it, and I realized I was just in this constant loop of just trying, giving up motivation, trying, giving up motivation. So I wanted abs, right? And I also wanted muscle, but so I did what many people did. I would do the 15-minute ab workouts at home. I would do these like ab workouts 3 times a day for like 15 minutes. Like I would do it before school, I would do it after school, then I would do it after practice, after soccer practice. I would do these ab routines or ab workouts that like Athlete Next, like right here, this video right here. I would do these two right here, or at least one of these, and I would do them like so many times a day. My dad even noticed one day. He was like, "Bro, you're doing a little too much," and I was actually doing a little too much, but I didn't know any better. So the thing was, I would do these 15-minute ab workouts and eat healthy for periods of time, right? Only for periods of time. I wasn't consistent with it, but I was super inconsistent because I was discouraged from the lack of results. Notice how these 10-minute ab workouts, they say like 60-day transformations. Get abs in 60 days. Get abs in 30 days, But when a week went by or even a month went by, I would see barely like or no results. And I would get so discouraged, and then I would stop for like another month, and then I would see like motivation online. I would see these influencers, I would follow these influencers who I want to be like, and I would see their physique. I was like, oh shoot, I need to get my abs on point. So I would go back to the 10-minute ab routine. I would do them, and I would a week later I lift up my shirt, no results, right? And I would constantly do that, right? Just fall off, have the motivation, be consistent for like a week, and then I'd be discouraged from the lack of results, and then I would fall off again, and the cycle would repeat every single time. This happened for like 2 years, I would say, at least. So that's the cycle of despair that most people are in, and probably you're in right now. You know, you've been trying, and then you've been inconsistent because you've been lacking the results, which have killed your motivation, right? So I want to get into how the problem we had with this, because we now live in a world, right, with instant coffee, instant delivery, instant click. Like you just click a link, you open up a browser, fast food, instant gratifications, and instant abs, right? Everything is instant nowadays. You know, like the views, the videos with the most views is because you think you could get the result instantly, right? Most likely, it's 3 steps, 30 days, you know. And the reason I put Amazon right here, and then I put like Uber Eats right here. But the reason I put this Instagram and this no view thing is because the boring work that no one wants to show doesn't get views. The boring answer I'm about to show you does not get views because no one wants to do the work over a long period of time, right? And honestly, it's going to happen faster than you think. You think that this process takes a long time, but if you're just consistent every single day doing the little daily actions, doing the little small actions every single day without, being discouraged from the results, you will see results, right? But people are not going to be honest with you and say, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, and then you do that for 60 to 90 days or even 180 days, and you will see results. No one's saying that because it doesn't get views. It doesn't get views. And notice this video, it's going to have like 5 views or 10 views even. I have like 600 subscribers right now. Some of them, or most of them, from like YouTube Shorts. But I'm telling you, this doesn't get views. This answer I'm going to tell you does not get views, okay? We've become efficient, but also lazier as a society, right? And we've conditioned ourselves to take an action and immediately see a result. But with fitness, it's the exact opposite. With fitness, you got to take action. You got to be mentally drained sometimes. You got to work hard. You got to be consistent. And you're not going to see a result even after a week of putting your best effort, right? Unless you're working really hard, then maybe. But depending where you're at, you're probably going to see results only a month or 2 from now, right? So everything you do now, it's going to show a month later. Everything you do now, it's not going to show tomorrow. It's not going to show in a week. Maybe very rarely, right? You might lose 2 pounds of water weight in a week, but everything you do now is going to show up later in time, and you got to be patient enough in order to see those results, right? Even with all the information out there, why don't we still take action? It's because we put in the amount of work that we think is required or that we're comfortable putting in and expect the results to happen sooner. We put in the amount of work that we think is going to get those results. But most likely we have to put in a little bit more than that, right? We have to put in a little bit more than what we think is required, and we have to be a little bit more patient than what we think is going to take, right? So if you think it's going to take a month, it's probably going to take 2 months. If you think it's going to take 3 months, it's probably going to take 5 months, like depending what your goal is, right? But it can happen much sooner than you think if you just stay consistent with the daily actions, okay? So that's the thing with today's society. We become much more efficient. We have AI nowadays to do a lot of stuff for us, but now it's not the information that we're lacking. Now it's the willingness to be patient and see the results and put in the work without having the result right now, but put in the work and then seeing the result later, okay? So that's the problem that we have now, right? It's like a modern problem, right? We have all the information now, but now it's this side of the problem that we're facing. And so the answer is boring, like I told you. And if you're tempted to click off this video, you're proving my point exactly. You probably clicked off already, and you're proving my point exactly because you're trying to find the faster solution to fix your problems, but that's the biggest problem of them all. You're not going to see results as fast as you hoped, but it will be quicker than you thought. Okay, so that's only if you show up every day. So instead of zooming in and seeing, oh, I did all this work this day, I did a lot of work today, tomorrow I should see the results. No, if you zoom out a little bit and you do this action for 60 days, 90 days, 180 days, you will see the results over time. And if you're not attached to the outcome, it's going to be easier because you're not stressing constantly about not seeing the result. So one day of working out won't be enough. One day of healthy eating won't be enough. One day of doing the cardio won't be enough. And one day of sacrifice is not going to be enough. But when you zoom out to like 90 days, the results turn noticeable now. So I'm going to go into a couple steps to how you can get started, right? To immediately take action. If you're like completely new, you can immediately take action with just these 4 simple steps I'm about to show you, okay? Replace and don't reduce, right? Instead of worrying about eating less, just switch out the foods that you're eating right now that are unhealthy and switch it out for healthier foods, right? And you could eat more in quantity if you just substitute to healthier foods. Like, for example, this cookie. This is how we macro manipulate, okay? One cookie is like 100 calories, depending how big it is. Like a bowl of strawberries is 100 calories. If you just switch it, the strawberries are healthier and you get to eat more of them rather than the cookie. And when you eat the cookie, you're most likely going to have like 5 of them or maybe even 10 of them. I used to eat 10 Oreos at a time every time I wanted to eat Oreos and milk. I would eat like 10 Oreos, like one of those long packages of Oreos. I would eat like at least half of that or even the whole thing. And that would be like 1,000 calories, which is crazy. So just switching out one cookie for a bowl of strawberries can make a big difference, right? So just switch out any unhealthy foods that you have, right? Fruits over candy, eggs over cereal, ground beef over fried chicken, or Greek yogurt over pudding, right? All these healthy substitutes, and you can still make them tasty. I'm not saying that you have to eat like a monk and just have all these bland foods. You can still season it here and there. You can still have some foods, but I'm telling you there's better alternatives, and you don't have to worry about just eating less altogether. You just have to worry about eating the right things, okay? So that's the first step. And walk, and don't run, right? Just walk. This is my, like, really big method. This is my key method to leaning out. A lot of people think it's endless running and cardio to lose their abs, or to lose fat to see their abs. What the hell? I don't know what I wrote there. But all you need to do is low intensity cardio that burns calories from the fats. And again, I'm showing you what worked for me. Okay, this is what worked for me. If you want to run, you can run. If you enjoy running and you like running, go ahead. That's fine. But if your sole goal is to just lose fat, don't burn yourself out. Just simply walk at least like 10,000 to 12,000 steps per day while eating right at your maintenance or maybe a little bit below your maintenance, while eating your protein every single day. That's literally it. But that's the information again. The actual results come from doing this, not just one day, not just in a week, but every single day for about a month, 2 months, 3 months, right? And you're going to see results over a long period of time. So don't be discouraged when results aren't fast. It's going to take time, right? But with time, you're going to preserve your muscle, especially if you're trying to cut down, if you're bulking. If you're trying to cut down, you'll have a better investment on your time if you just take it easy, just walk every single day, eat your protein goal, and you'll preserve your muscle and just melt away the fat over time, right? My first month, I didn't see any results from my efforts. I didn't see anything, right? You could put like the 2 pictures side by side, and I didn't see anything, mostly because it was just water weight. The weight was going down, the scale was going down, but it was mainly water weight. Okay, the actual fat wasn't coming off just yet, but that's the first stage, okay? So what I recommend is after every workout, you walk on an incline treadmill for about 30 minutes at like 10 to 12 incline on the speed 3, right? And then this 30 minutes will be like a solid 3,000 steps because every 10 minutes is about 1,000 steps, right? Depending on your stride and everything, of course, but approximately every 10 minutes you walk is about 1,000 steps. So if you do 30 minutes after the gym or after the workout, that's already 3,000, right? And then you have an hour. Probably you have at least like maybe you could split up your walks throughout the day, right? So you have at least 60 more minutes of walking, which would be 9,000 steps. An hour and 15 minutes ideally. So, and that could be like throughout the store. You can go to the store and when you're walking around the store, that's already like 2,000 steps. When you're walking around your house, maybe you're cleaning or something, and you're walking outside around your neighborhood, that's another like 1,000 to 2,000 steps. Easily, you can get to 10,000 to 12,000 a day And if you're working, walk in the morning, right? Walk 30 minutes in the morning, and then after work, you do another 30 minutes after the gym. After work, you go to the gym, you do another 30 minutes, right? It's already like 6,000 steps, and then you do like 15-minute walk around the block. You're already close to 10,000, right? So what I'm saying is just be smart with it. Just only be smart with your time, and just simply just walk 10 to 12,000 steps per day. And ideally, you want to do this with a calorie maintenance, okay? So I won't get too deep into it. I just want to get you started with the steps. And also, my system for being consistent is just keeping it repeatable, right? I've always been an overthinker on making decisions like, what should I make for lunch? I should I do this first? What's optimal after the gym? What should I eat before the gym? What should I eat after the gym? Should I eat this before I run? Like, or will I have time for this? I used to be so a big overthinker when it came to that stuff, and it caused me to not take action at all, and it got me stuck so many times because I was trying to look for the perfect route to my goal, or the perfect route to structure my day, and I still do sometimes, honestly, but I'm working on it. And I was just trying to find the perfect everything, right? But the perfect plan is just a consistent plan that you can keep every single day. And so for me, I find that 3 to 4 meals that I can repeat every single day that hit my protein goal, hit my macros, right? Why can't I do that every single day? People are going to think like, oh, why are you eating the same things every single day? Why? We just had that. I remember going out with my friends, and I forgot what the place was, but I'm going to say just Chick-fil-A, for example. One of us said like, oh, let's go to Chick-fil-A. And then another one of us said, oh, wait, I just had that 2 days ago. So there's this like weird unspoken rule that you can't have the same meals in the same week or something. I'm not sure what it is. Like I eat the same things every single day. Usually, I sometimes mix it up here and there. Maybe instead of turkey, I would have like maybe a chicken, or maybe instead of ground beef, I would have, I don't know, eggs and turkey, or instead of ground beef, I would have probably a steak or something. Like sometimes I switch it up here and there, right? But I have the key core meals that I must have every single day so I can hit my macros, right? My protein, my carbs, my healthy fats. That's simply it. My protein, my carbs, my healthy fat of milk. I have my fruits over here. I have my vegetables over here. Everything must be repeatable for me. So I just have the same things every single day, so I can just take away the thinking part, and I could just repeat the same meals at the same times I can every day, and keep the same schedule. And that really helps me so that I can not overthink over too much. Because if I try to have different meals every single day, it's going to be very hard for me, at least for me, okay? So if you want to do different meals, you can. If you find a system that works for you, awesome. But for me, keeping it repeatable means having similar meals every single day so I can get to my goals guaranteed. And then finally, this one I struggle with a lot. I struggle with this one a lot. You literally keep the fat on when your sleep quality decreases. I noticed this when I was cutting. I was keeping my love handles when I was having the poorest quality of sleep. I was keeping them, and I was eating like 1,700 calories at this time. So I was like, there's no way I'm gonna decrease my calories even more if I want to lose this love handles. And that's part of because I was sleeping so poorly. I was sleeping like 5 to 4 hours a night because I would come back home from work. I would do my content stuff. I would do my planning, and then I would go to bed like at 11 because I thought I was being more productive if I was staying up at night, just like on the grind, But in reality, I was just like slowly just killing myself with my poor sleep. Slowly and slowly, just like 5 hours a night based off the activity I was doing, including the amount of food I was eating. I was eating at 1,700 calories. I was literally just keeping the fat on me, right? And it's because, and obviously you want to aim for 7 to 9 hours, not 5 hours, okay? The gym and the cardio are stimulants to muscle growth and fat loss. But sleep is where the real progress is transformed, because that's when your body is in this recovery mode. Recovery is when everything happens. Throughout the day, you can do all the stimulation you want, but if you're not recovering, then you're just stimulating over and over and over without having the results. So when you sleep enough, your hormones, they reset properly, especially your cortisol and insulin, and you can go into YouTube and research more about this. I just want to keep it simple. But that balance makes it easier for your body to burn fat instead of storing it, especially around the belly, right? And also, there's a nuance to this. I was eating at 1,700 calories, which kind of gave my body this like panic mode to keep the fat because I was eating so little that my body was like, oh shoot, we have rarely any foods coming in. Let's keep the fat on so that we can have a backup resource. That's a nuance too. But both of those combined, of poor sleep and eating super little, it all just combined and just maybe have this like skinny fat kind of look a little bit. I was still getting shredded, but it kind of gave me this skinny fat little look. It could have improved. That's what I'm saying. So that's for sleep. Make sure you get your sleep if you can. I understand if you're working 8-hour days, it's quite hard, but understand that this is going to be the biggest investment of sleep. It gives you the biggest return on investment because it actually gets you the results. It really is the recovery of your results. Okay, if that makes sense. And so finally, rinse and repeat. Not every day is going to be perfect, but that was never the point. As much as we like to be perfectionists, like how I was, don't expect to make huge strides every day. It compounds like a snowball. At first, the effort might seem to have no effect, but over time, the changes, they start to become noticeable, right? Over time, it's gonna slowly just show. It's gonna slowly show. It's gonna slowly, and that's why I gave you the mindset stuff before I gave you the actions, because you must have that frame of mind that this is gonna take time. It's not overnight results. This method doesn't get thousands of views on Instagram, but it's well worked, at least for me. And so I encourage you to try to give this a try. Get your sleep, hit your protein, make sure you don't eat too much, and you walk every single day, or at least do some form of activity where you're active throughout the day. You will see results over time. I guarantee it. You will see results. And again, this is just the information, but it's your due diligence to get you started, to actually start and put that plan into action. You can plan all you want. I can give you the best plan. I can give you the best the best meal plan. But if you actually don't get started on it, it's no point, right? So I encourage you to take action, and I'll see you in the next video.